inspiration to me. And she works in one of those fields that I think is just incredibly challenging and hard. It just provides such an amazing needed service to people, and is reaching out beyond, that healthcare community and end of life care and senior care, which I believe is a national crisis that is upon us. We don't have enough care. And honestly, it is such a tough business to be in. And I want to welcome Jaunai to the stage. Jaunai Walker, please join us on the stage. I'm going to pin the spotlight for you, and hopefully everybody can see Jaunai now. And welcome. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Haley, for putting this together, for once again allowing me to grace the stage. And I literally just got off another stage and was blessed to take part in the last speaker's talk just now. And I feel so compelled to switch my discussion with you based on what she said. I was going to come in and I was going to talk all about selling today. I even talked to Haley about it last night. And I am switching back my talk to the original talk just to keep in line and to honor our last speaker and the courage that she had today to come on has given me the courage to release what I originally had to release. And we will let the chips fall where they may. But this is something that has been on my heart, and God works in mysterious ways. And I am feeling led to follow his instructions. So Haley, if you don't mind, I will not be talking about sales this morning. I'm going to do my original talk. Let me just go ahead and share out my screen. This is very important. This topic was very important to me because I've been on the WEN stage before, and I've shared a little bit about my own struggles that I had with mindset and for wanting to be successful. Are you guys able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and put this as a slideshow. So I wanted to share with you all on how I was able, as a person who struggled with low self-esteem, a person who struggled with, body shame, a person that was ashamed of the color of my skin, the way my hair looked, and to be able to grow into to have a thriving business, to have a thriving career, I had to learn how to get my shift together. Now, there is an F in that word, but I think we all know where I'm going with this when I say, let's get our shift together, right? And so these are mindset strategies for people who are ready to go out there and to conquer all of that negative self-talk, all of those feelings of low self-esteem. Those of us who are ready to move past that and to get to the other side. So this is kind of my tips of the things. If I were to go back and look at what I did, these are the things that I still do, still have to be intentional about. So I want to start off with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he says that the only person you are destined to become is the person that you decide to be. And there is so much power in understanding when you get to decide how you show up in this world, and that we are not limited to what people tell us that we can be or who we are, or because we look a certain way that we are to fit into those stereotypes. It's not right. It's not fair. And if other people are telling you that, that's one thing. But when we start telling ourselves that we have limits and we don't have power, excuse me, that's where it becomes a problem. And that's what I struggled with. I was a young girl. I was tall. I was super skinny. I was super dark skinned. I had super short and what they call nappy hair, right? And so I literally struggled with the way that I looked growing up. And those feelings began to take place into academics. Began to struggle. You would see those struggles show up in how I interacted with other people. You would see those struggles show up at work, at school, and in personal and romantic relationships. And I decided that I was going to take back control and I was going to decide how I was going to show up in the world. And you can do the same thing. So, the first way that you have to get through all of this negative or negativity is to identify what's holding you back, right? I had to do that. So my question is, have any of you ever looked at your friends and family and you wonder how they were able to constantly like achieve different things? I remember being in high school and I'm like, oh my God, this girl is so pretty. She's the homecoming queen. She's the captain of the cheerleading squad, right? And it's like, as much as I wanted to be happy for them, I was also frustrated for myself, right? And it's so difficult not to beat yourself up because you want to be able to do those things that they are doing. And the good news is that if you do have that frustration, you're not alone. A lot of people tend to have those frustrations, right? But we can shift ourselves, right, to achieving the goals. But what we really have to do is find out what's holding us back. So, what is it that you want? And really, really, really think about why don't you have it and what's stopping you, right? That should start to help you uncover some of those limiting beliefs and some of those negative emotions. But I'm going to tell you, the two biggest things that hold a lot of people back are making excuses and having those limited beliefs. And as far as making excuses, and trust me, I get caught up making excuses all the time. A lot of times it's being complacent, and a lot of times it's fear or insecurity that drives us to making excuses. They can forever hold us back if we let them. And limiting beliefs are usually something that's influenced by a circumstance, something that's influenced by a situation or event that left you feeling powerless, right? And our last speaker talked about those things and she decided to get over that hump, right? So, both excuse making and limiting beliefs can hold you back and it can hinder us from making progress. So how do you get over? First, you have to know what's holding you back and you have to understand who you are really called to be. And that is the first step in getting your shift right. And some of us are aware of them. Some of them are already conscious to us, and some of them we have to actually sit down and we have to assess so that way we can get a better, clear picture of what we need assistance in. But I want to remind you that no man is an island and that you have a community of people, right? WEN is a community of 73,000 people that will be happy to talk to you, right? You're not alone, right? It's not just skills or money that hold us back a lot of times. It is the way that we think about ourselves. So think about some of the ways that you are holding yourself back. The next thing we need to do in order to get our shift together is we have to make plans. And if we continue doing what we've always done and we convince ourselves that everything will always improve eventually, then we are really doing ourselves a disservice. So if you want your life to go a certain way, you have to start to make plans and you have to put together a life that serves you. So we need to know that what we are capable of in the future is dependent on the steps that we are taking right. And the two biggest tools that we have right now to make that happen is time and energy. And if we direct our time and energy into positive goals, into positive plans, then I promise you, you will start to see progress and you can be any of those things that you decide that you want to be. It's just a matter of a decision, of a plan, right? So your future depends on your ability to act now. And in order to be able to act in a good way, you have to be able to have those goals and plans that you set for today. Because if we don't have a set plan or a set goal, we could be left behind. So that's step two in getting your shift together. The next step is, and I already kind of alluded to it, is your power to make better decisions. So within all of us, we all hold the power to change our life. And the way that you harness your power is through the choices that you make. The opportunities that you find, the blessings that you are a part of or you make or you help even in your life or other people's lives, it all boils down to the choices that you make right now, right? So it I do this all the time. I say I want to lose weight. I want to get back to my regular clothes, right? But I find myself going over to the snack counter and eating chocolate and chips and pretzels, right? So I have the power to make the decision what I put into my mouth. And we have the power and we have the ability to decide what it is that we are going to do, what actions we're going to take, or what choices we're going to take as it relates to those goals, right? So we have to be able to make better choices for ourselves. I have to do better at making healthier choices for myself, right? We do want to realize that even one small choice can lead to big consequences. And everything that we choose today doesn't just affect us today. They will affect us tomorrow and the day after, and they will affect your future choices. Think about this when we were all back in college, and I don't know if you guys remember when they had all of the credit people there that was willing to give all of us credit cards, right? And some of us 20 or 30 years later are still affected by our choice as college students to sign up for those credit cards. So our choices that we make today can affect us even 20 or 30 years out. We also need to understand that the choices that we make today shape our thoughts, they shape our habits, our attitudes, and our actions. And your actions are then interpreted by the people that are around you, and they also are able to see the choices that you make. You know, those people and those choices will shape the feelings and the opinions that you and others hold of yourself, and it begins to alter people's perception of you, right? So choices don't only affect your future decisions, but they also affect the people that will want to be in your space or to give you opportunities because of said choices. So it's your choice to make sure that your future unfolds for yourself, and it's your power to simply start to be mindful about the decisions that you make. The sum of your choices is the life you create for yourself, whether those choices are conscious or unconscious. And the reality is that you have the choice. You can simply have total control over every aspect of your life and every aspect of the awareness that you bring. So I'm going to move on to the next step here, which is living by your values. So I know I want to be a good person, and I know everybody wants to be a good person, but what does that mean? So when you have the wrong values, that means you're living the wrong life. And I'm not here to tell anybody or to dictate, which values are good or which values are bad, right? I'm just here to let you know that we have to be honest about our values for ourselves. Like if I tell you that I am very conscious, or I value, climate control or air pollution, and I go out and I drive the biggest Hummer that you can ever see, I'm not in line with what I'm telling you that I value. So if you want to live the right life full of great values, then you have to identify what values you're living by, and your values are related to the way that you behave, and that's an important, because it's easy to say you think one way and value one thing, but if you fail to back it up by your actions, then you're not really living in alignment. So, what are some of the steps that you can take to live by your values? One, always choose goals that are aligned with your values. Make your choices with your goals in mind, and every decision that you make should edge you closer to achieving your goals. And draw on the physical and emotional benefits of your values and allow them to inspire who you are. And make sure you take the time to choose your next values. Like when you reach a certain goal, your goal should always align with those values. So, what is the next step in that goal, and does that goal align with the next value? The next thing is to live outside of your comfort zone. And all that means is being able to express or learn about things that you never have. It means opening up your mind to other people's opinions and to other people's ideas. Trying to be open to learn everything you possibly can to aim to constantly broaden your horizons. Most of you probably hear a lot about this have you guys heard of the growth mindset? You ever heard of growth mindset, right? This is all about having a growth mindset. And I'm one that will tell you that once I was able to get through that little time period where things were not so right with how I felt about myself, and when I did get into a space, I felt very comfortable there. I felt I didn't really want to change because change was breeding fear within myself. But one of my managers was able to take me aside, and he said that if you are too comfortable, then you're not going to move. And he said, we have to be able to be uncomfortable at times. And so being outside of our comfort zone allows us to be able to be a little bit in that uncomfortable zone. So it could seem intimidating, it could seem scary, especially when we spend so much time trying to conform to everyone else. But I want to remind everybody of the last time you learned something that you thought you could not learn. And I want to remind you how nervous you probably felt and how scared you probably felt. But then after you conquered it and after you learned it, you probably felt really good and you probably felt really thrilled about it. So step out of your comfort zone. So how do you do that? First, you become a lifelong student, right? Seek to learn as much as possible. Always, always, always study your craft. I am a sales professional. I've been in sales for 18 years. I still get sales coached. I still read sales novels. I still connect with people who are better than I am in sales because I recognize that I still need to grow. Are you doing that for yourself? When we come into these online spaces, we like to, be the expert in something, but are we always the only expert? And are we always the only person that we can learn from? And I would encourage you to seek out other people that are, I'm going to say it, quote unquote, smarter than you are. So that way you can begin to learn and you can begin to keep creating new ideas for yourself. So you could also read books, you can attend conferences and workshops and webinars like you are today. You can also connect with as many new people as you possibly can. Time. You have to be able to spend time well. Time is the only resource that we can't replace. We cannot buy more of it. And there's only so many minutes of the day. So we have to understand that if we want to build high flying businesses and make more money, then we're going to have to invest in activities that will result in making more money. So depending on what it is that you want, you have to be able to understand what it is that you want to do. So do you want to have freedom? Do you want wealth? Do you want friendship? Do you want to be legacy? Do you want to build something that you can be proud of? Then that boils down to how you spend your time. So try to narrow down as much as you possibly can the most important tasks for yourself in a day. Make a to-do list, have a planner system, keep track of whatever it is that you know that's important to you making money. Try out different time management techniques. I am a believer in the Pomodoro technique. It helps me to stay focused. It helps keep me on track of the most important tasks, but it's also a little exhilarating for me because I thought of myself as a multitasker. Well, lo and behold, I suck at multitasking. So now with the Pomodoro technique, I'm able to stay on task for 25 minutes. I don't have to worry about taking phone calls or worry about any other task. I can stay true to what it is that I'm working on. And I actually find that I get more done focusing on it that way. And the last thing that I wanted to share was to always surround yourself by quality people. And one of the greatest ways that you can shift your mindset is by surrounding yourself with the right people. There are 3 people that you want to surround yourself with, right? Winners, people who set out to win; supporters, people who will always support; and optimists. But I'm going to go one step further. There's a difference between optimistic people and confident people. Optimistic people are people who always think really great thoughts. Everything does start with a thought, but I would encourage you to hang around confident people. The difference between optimistic and confidence is action. Optimistic people, they have the thought. Confident people have the positive thought, but they always move on it, right? So the people you spend most of your time with can have a major influence on your mood, and they can, in fact, impact how you see the world, right? So if you choose to surround yourself with positive people, then you are more than likely going to be able to embrace more empowering beliefs. You are more likely to see life as something that is happening for you versus just something that is happening to you. Negative people are just the opposite. Those are the people that you probably want to stay away from as much as possible. Now, we all have people in our circle that are one or the other, right? We have family members, we have friends that might not be as positive as we need them to be. We need to be intentional and make good choices with our time of how we spend with them. So remember, the people you spend most of your time with, those are the type of people that you could eventually become. You have to determine, is this somebody that I am comfortable becoming, or does this person have traits that I am comfortable inheriting? If you want to reach success, if you want to go to new heights, you have to be able to surround yourself with inspiring people, people who are positive, but also people who are going to challenge you. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, how to get your shift together. I am so excited. I really hope that I was able to give you guys some food for thought. And sorry, I might have talked a little fast. I was worried about the timing of it, but I just wanted to give you guys as much information, even if you can take one of these ideas and shift some of your mindset. So that way you can have a positive, successful life, business, relationship, love life, whatever it is that you desire. I really hope that I was able to give you some tidbit for that. Thank you all so much for allowing me to present. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaunai. That's an awesome, awesome presentation. If you guys want to give her some love in the chats or a reaction or a round of applause, please let's give her lots of praise and thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jaunai.
Good job, Jaunai.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's one thing, I wanted to do a different presentation, but I just had to do this one just in line with what's happening. And isn't that the beautiful thing about connecting with people that allow you to go into a space and present, even though you're not at 100%. So I thank you guys for welcoming me and for listening to this information. And thank you for all the comments as well. And thank you again, Haley.
Thank you so much.